Hey y'all, it's Katrina. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a quick little video about something that I find that I do, and I think everybody does it who is a reader, because on Goodreads you have a preset shelf for currently reading. I just find that I go a little overboard because I'm such a moody reader, so I'm wondering if everybody does this. I've had up to 15 books on my currently reading, and so I just was going to go through my currently readings and see if this is something I wanted to do as a regular thing as we go through, and maybe quarterly as my currently reading clears out and new books comes on, and maybe I'll talk about where I am, or talk about maybe why my mood has changed on why I was reading it, why I'm not, or what I'm enjoying so far. Maybe I'm reading before I go to bed one book and listening to another one on audio, and I'm enjoying it better that way, or something like that. So let's see how this goes. So right now, the oldest book on my currently reading, I'm looking at my Goodreads, is The End of Policing. I am a leftist. I don't consider myself a liberal. I am left of liberalism, and I used to think that I was as left as you could go, but I am not, and I'm trying to teach myself about some of the things that people who are left of me talk about. I didn't understand the idea of abolishing the police, abolishing prisons. I know that there are places in the world that don't do things the way we do. There are places in the world where the police don't even carry guns, and I just wanted to educate myself. I wanted to imagine. I already can imagine sort of a better world, a different world, but I wanted to educate myself on what it would actually look like when we say defund the police. I can understand that, but more and more people that I follow on Twitter, more of the intelligentsia, are saying abolish the police, abolish prisons. And so what does the world look like beyond that? And so the book is, well written. I read lots of nonfiction books. It's fine. I don't have a problem with academic books. I enjoy them. I normally listen to heavy academic books on audio. The narrator is a little quirky sounding for a book like this, but it's fine. It's not blocking my intake of the information. However, political times right now, it's October, the end of October 2020 as of recording, and we've just had a lot going on. Beyond the obvious trauma of being a Black woman in America, the disappointment that I have with our political leaders, and I mean on the side that's supposed to be on my side. And we, as of this taping, they've pushed through a very conservative judge, and I worried myself sick, literally, about what that means in regards to our election, and I have to dissociate a little bit from that. And so this book, and there was a book on the Reconstruction era, I've had to take a break on just for sanity. And I do listen to, there's a certain podcast, a news podcast that I listen to, and I will scroll Twitter every once in a while, but I am trying to dissociate a little bit from media, news media, and politics, because it's just too much, especially in this era of 2020 and everything else that's going on. This is just not something else that I can necessarily think through at the moment. The next book that I'm reading, I last updated in September, and it's called Inescapable, and I think it was just something to listen to while I was going to bed. I can't even tell you what it's about. It was a part of, it's a romantic thriller, I know that, and it was part of the Audible had for a while, not even a full 6 months, they had a program where you paid an extra like $7 and you got all the romance books that you wanted. And I loved it, but I did find myself kind of like a kid in a candy store where I just was like glutting on stuff, and so I couldn't really focus. And so this sounded like something I was interested in. Like I said, it was, let me open it up and see. I believe, let me see, I might be completely wrong. Nope, it might be paranormal based on this. It might be, and it's got a bunch of 1 stars. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and move this book. So as my name is Evie Claremont, and this was to be the making of me, my freshman year of college. I'd been hoping that once I'd arrived at Crestwood's campus, the nightmare that I've been having would go away. It hasn't. I may be an inexperienced 17-year-old, but I'm grounded, sane. I look for rational explanations to even the strangest circumstances. Since meeting sophomore Reed Wellington, however, nothing makes any sense. Whenever he's near, I feel an attraction to him, a magnetic kind of force pulling me toward him. I know what you're thinking. That sounds fairly awesome. Yeah, it would be if he liked me. But Reed acts as if I'm the worst thing that ever happened to Crestwood or him. But get this, for some reason, every time I turn around, he's there, barging into my life. What is the secret he's keeping from me? I'm hoping that if it's anything like what I expect, that he's not exactly normal. Neither am I. So maybe Crestwood won't be the making of me, but it could be the breaking of me. I've been left to wonder if the dark future my dream is foretelling is inescapable. And that's the name of the book, Inescapable. I don't know if I said that. So I think this is going to be a DNA, DNF, sorry, DNA. Because I literally can't remember anything about this book, and it's been so long since I've listened to it. So that's Inescapable by Amy A. Bartold. The next book that I'm reading is The Death of Mrs. Westaway. I'm not having a problem with. I read Ruth Ware's Turn of the Key. I didn't love it as much as my favorite booktubers did, but I still was willing to give this a try. It's spooky season. I really, I loved Haunting of Hill House. So Haunting of Hill House was a 5 out of 5, a 6 out of 5 for me. But Haunting of Bly Manor was like a 4 out of 5. And so I'm in the mood for gothic, haunted surroundings, and but this was a little bit more, it hadn't gotten to that place yet for me. And so I put it down figuratively. I stopped listening to it, but I still plan on finishing it. Song of Blood and Stone is a fantasy. I'm starting to think I might not be a fantasy girl. I like urban paranormal. I love that. I devour like whole series of those. There's a couple series of zombie books that I love because of the reason why I loved early seasons of Walking Dead, where it wasn't really about the zombies, it was about the people. And Julia Whelan was I think I'm saying it, Whelan or Whalen, she was she's the narrator of both the audio series. And the friend groups are amazing. Her narration is amazing. They're my favorite books. I listen to them over and over again. Some of my favorite series, I listen to them over and over again. And so I keep looking for, and I like urban paranormal, and I like Game of Thrones. But Game of Thrones was even something that I had to kind of keep chipping away at to get into. My husband has been reading it since he was young, And then the show came out, and I wasn't interested in either. I tried to read the book, wasn't into it. Tried to watch the show with them, wasn't into it. The show began to become a little bit more popular around, was it the Red Wedding? So whatever season that was. So I said, let me try the books again. Let me try the books again. So I think I tried reading them the first time. No, I tried listening to it the first time, and the narrator is weird to listen to him reading about young people. So then I read the first book and I enjoyed it again a little bit more. Then I went ahead and listened to the whole series, and then I was totally hooked, and I watched the series, started arguing with my husband. Like, we would argue about theories and who was the best house, and he's I'm a Stark, and for some reason I'm blanking on Jamie and Cersei's house, but that's who he is. We used to fight like that about Walking Dead too, like, at the early seasons when it was good, and we were like, he was on Shane's side, I was always on Rick's side, so that got me into it. And so I think those books make me think that I'm gonna like high fantasy. And so Song of Blood and Stone is a high fantasy with people of color, and I'm not. So that's Song of Blood and Stone. I think I'll try to listen to it again and see. But now, Relics is another book that came up on Audible. It is by Tim Levin. It is quite interesting. I only stopped listening to it because some other books caught my attention, and I sped through those. But this was a free book. Instead of offering Audible escapes, Audible is just trying to extend what you get with your $14.95 a month. So you get your one credit, but you also get a bunch of podcasts and novellas and originals and things like that. And this is one of the books that are just available, and it's pretty good. Let me read the synopsis because I don't quite remember. It's been a couple weeks. There is an underground black market for arcane things, akin to the trade in rhino horns or tiger's bones. This group traffics in mummified satyrs, griffins, claws, and more. When Angela Gao's lover Vince goes missing, she sets out to find him, whatever the risk. She learns that he is employed by infamous London crime lord Frederick Malloy, providing bizarre objects beyond imagining. Descending into the city's underbelly, she uncovers a deadly side to the black market. It might have claimed Vince, and Angela may be next. Gripping supernatural terror, launching a new trilogy by acclaimed author of Coldbrook. Distinct, unique, and absorbing, and the silence truly addictive, and the alien predator rage roar. So it's a magical, perilous drama full of characters who live and breathe darkness you can feel. Okay, so yeah, it was okay. It's only got a 3.61 out of 5. It's okay. So that's probably why I put it down, to kind of breeze through some of the other books that I did end up speed reading through. I just sped read through, The Body Counter by M. Fraser, The Cabinet at the End of the World, Every Heart a Doorway, and then the whole point of me restarting a booktube was to start reading with my eyeballs, and so I read the Once Wicked and Now Twice Hexed is the book that I'm physically reading. So My Soul to Keep is a Tana Reeve Dew book. She has a book called The Good House that I'm going to read. I heard her on, I was loving Lovecraft Country, and there was a podcast after every episode talking to, I can't think of her name. I used to follow her on the problem with this is I used to follow her on Twitter. She's a writer and she loves horror, but her Twitter name is not what her real name is. I can see her face. I think her name is Ashley. But then the other person who was on the podcast was a writer. So they would talk about deep things. They'd give you homework. They'd give you like music and poems and other books and other movies that they picked up on or felt, or that would just educate you or whatever on the show. The show was so multi-layered. And one of the episodes of the podcast, they had Tannerine Dew, who is an African-American horror lover and writer. And so she has the good book that just came out. It's a large book. It's on Scribd, but it's only in book form. And I want to be able to read it and listen to it, but I don't know if I want to read it electronically. I want to either read it by hand or listen to it. So in the meantime, I wanted to listen to some of her older stuff, and I'm enjoying it so far. My Soul to Keep, like I said, I stopped reading this just maybe a week ago. So when Jessica marries David, he is everything she wants in a family man. Brilliant, attentive, ever youthful, yet she still feels something about him. It's just out of reach. And come to find out that he is more than 400 years ago, he and other members of an Ethiopian sect trade their humanity so that they would never die, a secret he must protect at any cost. So that's my dog. My husband just came home, I believe, so my dog is tripping. But so that's what I'm reading right now. It's interesting. I'm not that far into it. I'm maybe like a quarter into it, so I'm enjoying it so far. Twice Hexed is the what do you call it? It's the it's the actual physical book that I'm reading to go to sleep, to help me sleep at night. Therapist recommended physical book. It's a what do you call it? It's a cozy mystery. I read the first one. This is the second one I'm reading now. Everybody's at the door, so I need to hurry up. And I only gave the first one a 2. It didn't have the environment. It didn't have the it's in New England, and it didn't have like the coziness of New England. It didn't have the crunching of the leaves. It didn't have orange trees. She's in a tea shop. You don't smell the tea. You don't taste it. You don't get deep. I don't know. For me, a cozy mystery, you're supposed to experience it with all your senses, and like the mystery is secondary. It's the coziness, the wrapping up, and I didn't get that from it, so I'm hoping they get better. I mean, she has I think I saw 9 or 10 of these. I have 3. I bought a 3-pack, so I'm hoping that they get better. It was good enough to read to go to sleep, but we'll see. If it doesn't get better by the 3rd one, which I actually already have, I won't buy any more, but that's the one I have. And then the last book that I'm currently reading is Watching You by Lisa Jewell. I just started this one yesterday, and it was after, like I said, it's another one on. I'm curious to see how many audiobooks I can read on Scribd before they cut me off. So this is kind of that kind of experiment. Like I said, I just listened to Every Heart a Doorway and Cabinet at the End of the World, and The Body Counter. So that's 3 books, and now I'm reading a 4th. So I'm trying to see where they're going to cut me off. So that's why I'm going to keep reading. I'm going to keep listening to audiobooks on Scribd until they cut me off, and then I'll go back to My Soul to Keep, which is on Audible, and Relic, which is on Audible, and then I'll continue reading Twice Hexed. So that is my currently reading Those are the reasons that I have such a large currently reading. It is not the largest or smallest. This is kind of in the middle. I kind of keep about 6 to 7 books in rotation. What about you? How many books do you keep on your currently reading list? Let's talk about it. Let's get to know each other's reading habits in the comment section. If you like this, let me know. Give it a like. If you like what I have to say about reading, give me a follow. And I will see you the next time I make a video. Bye.